This episode of Gamerheads is brought to you by Magic Mind, the healthy energy drink that will help you take your creativity to a new level.
Hi, I'm Celia Schilling from Yacht Club Games.
Hey, this is James from Mega Cat Studios.
Hey, this is Matt, aka Stormageddon from Reignite, Screen Snark, and the Fun and Games podcast.
This is Stephanie from the Boss Rush podcast and the Boss Rush Network.
Hey, this is Mark and Keon from Bonte Avond.
Hey, this is Sebastian with the ProNerdReport.com and the Single Player Experience podcast.
Hi, this is Chris.
Mike.
And Garrett from Daylight Basement Studio.
Hey, this is Baron J67 from Level 1 Gaming.
Hey, this is Todd Mitchell from Code Right Play.
Salutations, this is Mike Carroll from Stroll Art.
Hey, this is Jeff Moonen from Fun and Games Podcast.
Hey, this is Patrick from the Backlog Odyssey.
Hey, this is Rune from Runic Codes.
Hi, this is Andrew from Spalato Bros.
Hi everyone, Jill Grote here from the Indie Informer.
Hey, this is Brimstone, and you're listening to Roger Reichart on the Gamerheads Podcast.
And welcome to another episode of the Gamerheads Podcast. My name is Roger. Along with me, I have some very special guests. I have, I almost forgot our music here. Hold on, what do we got? Oh no, they changed the media up. So let's see if I can, here we go. All right, let's see if this works. We have our CEO and president, Phil. Oh good, it worked.
That was about as professional as my presidency is.
Welcome, Phil.
Super stoked to be here, though, as always. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
Thanks for hosting.
Yeah, I'm glad to have hosting. Yeah. Thank you for joining us, Phil. I don't know. And then Mike, we have Mike.
Shout out to South Africa.
There we go. Yeah, we have a lot of listeners in South Africa. And then, of course, we have our very special guest on the show. I don't know if this music's going to fit you, Sebastian, but we'll try. We have Sebastian.
Sounds like Mr. Sandman.
It does, kinda. It does. It does. How are y'all doing today? I have so many questions right off the top. So many.
Do you like this music? Mark
don't hate it.
Picked it up. Mark Keating picked it up for you. I don't know if you like it or not, but that's your music. So welcome to the show, Sebastian.
Well, thank you. Thank y'all for having me once again. It's always a pleasure to be here with y'all guys. I gotta ask, for Mike's music though,
yeah,
why does he have Captain America style like music before he got like the super style?
That's you know what that's I didn't even think about that as Captain America old style music. I was thinking like Cuphead style music, but that's even better.
Yeah. You got the Captain America music before you got the steroids, you know?
That's
that actually makes a lot of sense.
Pre-juiced Captain America.
Yeah,
exactly.
Pre-juiced Captain America. That's right. Well, it was a slide whistle at one time. It was just whoop, and that was it. And he wasn't real happy with that.
Yeah, this is what Roger thinks of me.
Not me, Mark Keating. I have nothing to do with this music.
Oh, okay.
So
that's okay. Go ahead, Sebastian.
I can fire an email off to Mark if you want me to.
So on the other side, Phil, like, how long is your term as president?
It's kind of like South Korea, where we used to be big. Okay. It's until somebody kills me.
Okay, gotcha.
Oh shit, that's North Korea, not South Korea.
Wow.
Gotcha. So
it's like a Korea.
So we call it like president, but it's kind of like a low-key dictatorship kind of scenario.
It's not really even low key. It's very obvious.
Okay.
It's a dictatorship.
It's not. Yeah, he doesn't.
Like, I don't really hide it.
It was a takeover of the Gamerheads podcast. I mean,
it was a semi-hostile takeover.
Yeah.
You just gave me a hell of an idea, though, Sebastian. I might get a giant flag with my face printed on it and hang it up right behind me throughout the course of this.
I like that. That's what I'm saying. Y'all have content for days where y'all can just have election night and everything like that.
Just get a big map of like the Gamerheads nation, which is just like the three of us, and watch it like change colors.
Exactly.
It's just the three of us voting.
We should do a special election night during actual presidential election, and it will be
and me frantically trying to hack the system to stay president.
It'll just show lines saying, "Wait, let's check the polls. Oh, Phil's still in the lead. This is unbelievable."
I'll be calling in a lot of favors from our South African friends to stay elected.
Well, Sebastian, welcome to the show.
Glad to be here.
You have been on the show before, but if this is the first time people have listened to the podcast, which is quite possible, and maybe the last time somebody might have listened to this podcast, why don't you talk about yourself? Tell us about yourself. What do you do? What's your site? Like, what's your podcast about?
Man, just the Sebastion Hour here. I'm the host of this weird little quirky podcast called the Single Player Experience Podcast, the premier podcast for single player gamers to find out about good single player games to play and hear some of the crazy stories about people who are making those games, or hear from other people who have dope games that they want to recommend to you. So that, in layman's terms, if you kind of are strictly like a single player gamer, or at least like really love good single player games, then you should definitely check out the podcast. On the other side, I also write on my own personal site, the Pro Nerd Report, where I review a whole lot of games, mostly on the indie side of the fence. I think Roger and I were talking about it earlier, and I was like, I think I did 55 games last year.
That's insane.
That's
insane. 55 games.
55 games.
That's
that
a
I
lot of
reviewed for the
games,
site.
man. That's a lot of games.
Yeah, and I was just like, man, I'm gonna get burned out, and I was just like, I'm gonna take a break, and then next thing I know, I'm like, this year has started off kind of on a bang, There's so much stuff to play, and at the same point too, I'm like, I feel like I've already gotten into the weeds of playing so much stuff, but nothing's quite like hit hard for me yet. If it so what, like 2023, it felt like everything, like every 2 weeks there was a game that was hitting off for people. On 2024 so far, I'm like, if you're not super into Prince of Persia, you're just kind of like on chill mode until your game comes up, basically.
Yeah.
But it's been fun. This has been a fun year so far. I'm excited to see what comes up and really talk about this Xbox developer showcase that just happened today. So thank y'all for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Sebastian, I just want to say I wasn't being a dick and ignoring you when you were talking.
No.
I was actually subscribing to your podcast.
Thank you.
Single player experience, and I plan on checking it on the way to work tomorrow because I didn't catch it the first time you were on the show.
Oh, thank you very much.
Mike, did you have? I'm sorry. What? Sorry,
no,
Sebastian.
I got a question real quick. It's
yeah.
I want to know, like, the election though, because I want to get back to this the election situation. Are y'all gonna have like a live graph of which states feel are leading?
Yes.
Dude, it'll be drawn right here on this piece of paper.
Yeah.
And it'll be totally legit.
Yeah, because we don't really. I mean, I don't know if Mark Keating knows anything about graphics. Like, I don't know if he's a graphic person or not.
He doesn't know shit about shit.
Yeah, he really doesn't.
He gave Sebastian Mr. Sandman.
I know.
Not even Enter Sandman, Mr. Sandman.
I know. Not exactly. So I don't know if we have the budget or the know-how to do some cool graphics, but certainly that sounds like an idea that we would have. The states filling in, for Phil. But we'll do that. We'll hold our own election during the election. It's going to be live broadcast, and we'll see how many people tune into our election versus the actual presidential election, and we'll see which one gets more viewership. I suspect I know the answer to this already, but who knows? You don't know. Ours will probably be more entertaining. I'll say that. That's for sure.
The good news is we just got our first poll from our prelims, and as we can see here, I have got a huge lead with Roger and Mike tied, and somehow Mark Keating is making a move. I don't know what the hell he's doing to make a move, but we've got our first results from our preliminaries. Now back to weather.
It just came right off the presses right here. It is amazing. That looks so professional too. Mike, you had a question. I saw you raise your hand.
I had 2 points to make, and it's actually changing this top. Actually, 1 point to make and one bit of news. So whenever you're ready to move on, just let me know.
Well, okay. Well, first of all, welcome Sebastian to the show.
Thank you for having me.
And welcome to our patrons. Welcome Jill, Matt, and Sarah. They are patrons of the show, and you can be a patron as well for as low as $3 a month. You can join the Gamerheads Nation. In fact, if you join the Gamerheads Nation, you can actually vote for who is the president when our election comes up. And you can do
actual voters.
So you're paying for votes?
I'm not prepared for actual voters.
You can do that by when going to a patreon.com/gamerheads. You can sign up there. I'll leave a link in the show notes as well. And then come November
to vacate my position.
I'm telling Phil, you're gonna have to start campaigning. Phil, like,
do any of our Patreons have babies that I can shake? I mean, kiss.
Oh. Phil, you can always just do an executive
so.
order just to keep yourself in power.
Oh, that's a good move.
Oh, that's.
I gotta
just remember
me.
Remember me when you do that executive order.
Most definitely, Mike.
This sounds like what Lex Luthor was planning when he became president.
Yes.
You know,
this is some Wilson Fisk becoming mayor of New York City type of shit is what's happening right now.
That's true. That's true. Mike, we are ready to move on to whatever you wanted to talk about. Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
First thing I want to call out, Sebastian, one thing you said while you were talking, just if you're ever interested in branching out, you said the Sebastion Hour. To me, that sounds like the most chill podcast title I've ever heard. So, like, if it's like a Sunday night or something, and I've got, like, some brandy sitting by the fireplace, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna turn on the Sebastion Hour, and it's
some Sunday night Sebastian.
Yeah,
I like that.
So-
I can kill some time talking about what I'm drinking for the night. We can talk about some of the
swirling
TV
a
shows.
Swift or a brandy.
and you could play, and the background music would be the underwater level from Donkey Kong Country, which is
Okay,
the most
I like that.
relaxing music ever. So
I like this.
So when you beat Joe Rogan's numbers with that, just remember me when you're,
Are you trying?
Wow, Mike, you are really hitching your
branching
pony on
out. I'm
everybody.
branching
I like
out.
this.
No kidding. Like, you are just placing like hedging bets everywhere.
Hey,
Jeez.
I'm starting all. I'm prepping for November by just sucking up to everybody.
He's winning votes. He's winning
That's
votes
right.
out here.
I'm campaigning, man. You got to. I'm
Okay, he's a wise man.
Yeah, I'm
He's a wise
tree
man.
stumping or filibustering or whatever they call it these days. So, anyways, the other thing I want to say is I'm very happy today because I heard some news that made me very happy.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And that news is that we are getting a feature film, a movie coming to theaters. Something I've been looking forward to for, maybe about 10 years now since it came out.
Looking forward to a movie?
Yes, we are getting a movie based on Until Dawn.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
One of the
Hell yes.
greatest PlayStation 4 games I've ever played. Amazing game. And even better than that, it's being directed by David F. Sandberg. Who's that? Okay, I'll tell you. Since it's a horror game, he directed Lights Out. If you ever saw Lights Out, that's a great movie. He also directed a couple of he directed one the Annabelle movie, one of the Annabelle movies. So, and then he also did Shazam. If you like the
Are you serious?
DC stuff, yeah.
The first or second one, or both?
Both.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Not Kazam.
I was about to say,
Did he do just the first one, or did he also do the second one?
For the Shazam, he did both of them.
Oh, so a 50-50 track record there.
I'd say 75-20 because I liked Annabelle and I loved Lights Out.
Okay, that's true. That's true.
well, I was about to say, I don't think I've ever watched any of his movies, and then you mentioned Shazam, and I've watched both of those. Yeah, the second one wasn't always good. The first one was good. The second one was like,
But yeah,
Shazam was part of the downfall of DC. I mean, that was like, when you look at the trajectory of like, oh, this is the beginning of the end for this. I'm like, Shazam's one of those you could pinpoint and go like, okay, it may not have started there, but that didn't help.
The first one was good.
No, the first one. I'm talking about the second one, the Fury of the Gods or whatever it was.
That was bad. That was bad. I agree.
So what do y'all think about the new wave of these video game adaptations? Because this is, Five Nights at Freddy's. We just got that. Yeah, so I'm like, this is kind of a lot of these horror-centric IPs. It seem like they're coming to theaters now.
Martha is Dead. They just announced they're making a movie based on Martha is Dead.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
I think it was that one. Yeah. I'm excited.
Then,
I've been waiting for good video game movies. You know, what did we get stuck with in terms of horror movies based on video games? Oh, I'll tell you, House of the Dead. If you've seen House of the Dead,
Evil.
have you seen Silent Hill? Don't say Resident Evil.
I
I mean, the
just said
first
Resident
one,
Evil's rough,
the
though.
first one, the second one, and then everyone after that was all Blood Rain. Have you seen the Blood Rain movies?
No, I didn't even know.
Dude, I forgot Blood Rain was a thing.
Yeah, I didn't know they had the movie. Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah. So
that's exciting.
Should have done Typing of the Dead instead of House of the Dead.
Oh man, I'd love that. That would be awesome. Typing
To
of the
be
Dead.
fair, though,
Have you
it's not
seen
just
her-
horror movies. Like video game movies in general have been terrible for a long
No,
time.
wait.
Just
Yeah. But the Super Mario Brothers movie was really good.
Well,
I think this is the resurgence of. I mean, this is finally
yeah.
the ascendance of like video game
Yeah.
adaptations, though.
And then you have The Last of Us. Like The Last of Us. I mean, it's not a
and
movie,
this is-
obviously, but
it's popular and it's getting and I think I'm hoping Hollywood finally realized they got their heads out of their own, tuckuses, and they finally realized that a good video game movie doesn't mean, oh, we're going to make a movie based on this IP, but we're going to put our own spin on it.
yeah.
You know what I mean? If you follow it, like, let's say Lord of the Rings, if you follow it exactly like it's laid out, you're not guaranteed, but the odds of being successful are increased tenfold. Look at the Super Mario Brothers movie. They stuck with the formula, the Mario video game formula. Look at Five Nights at Freddy's. That stuck with the formula. That was a good movie. Look at Sonic the Hedgehog after they fixed it.
Yeah.
But they took, I'm hoping Hollywood is realizing, oh, if we make these movies based on video games look and feel and act just like the game instead of, trying to change things, we'll see something successful. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping we can see a lot more movies. They also just hired a bunch of people to be in this Minecraft movie too. So.
Oh yeah. I had to laugh though about that because
Movie about building things.
Yeah. Because I mentioned this before on the show, but I'll say it again. When The Last of Us came out, the TV show came out, like Good Morning America was like, this is more Spielberg than Pac-Man, and I was like, oh my gosh, here we go again. Like, I don't know, it's just funny that, I don't know, I think people have this thought of like what video games are, and that they're not storytelling media, but they'd be wrong.
It's because they played Destiny.
Yeah, and it's like the mainstream games haven't done a lot to kind of rectify that in a lot of people's eyes, because I'm like, when you see a lot of people playing games like Fortnite and games like Minecraft and Call of Duty and such like that, I'm like, that's perpetuating what a lot of people have already thought about those type of about video games as a whole. So I'm like, we are getting into a more nuanced discussions. Even like Twisted Metal was better than it had any right to be. Had any right to be, but
I forgot about that show.
But I'm like, you watched it?
What's
then?
up? You watched?
Oh
Twisted
yeah,
Metal? And it was good.
I saw the whole season. Yeah,
Okay.
I watched Twisted Metal was so good. I watched it in like 2 days, and I was
Wow.
So it's like, I don't necessarily think it's like The Last of Us level, but I think it's the tier below that. It's not quite like the only video game current adaptation that I think is like actively bad right now is Halo, and everything else is like really decent.
Oh, don't break my heart again like that.
Yeah,
No, you
and
didn't
Halo
break
just
my heart
announced
by
a
your
season
comment.
2.
You broke my heart by reminding me that I watched the first season of Halo. So
yeah. So I'm like, everything else has been really good lately, and there's been a real like ascendance of the genre, so to speak. I'm like, a lot of people are excited about the new Sonic the Hedgehog. A lot of people would be excited about a Mario sequel and a Zelda movie and a Smash Brothers movie. Like, people would be excited about these things. Like, Ghost of Tsushima is coming out with its own movie. And so, is it Amazon? And I think Amazon's doing God of War. So I'm like,
yeah, they are.
Yeah, so it's like there's so many good adaptations if they all turn out good. There's so many promising adaptations coming in the future, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I felt like the Amazon was doing another one too that recently was announced, and I was like, "Oh, that's a
Fallout."
Fallout, yeah.
Oh, that's
Fallout.
right,
yeah.
Fallout. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not just recently announced. That's like coming out this year, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, that's coming out later this year.
Yeah. Phil or Mike, have you guys watched Twisted Metal, the TV show?
I keep forgetting that
No,
it's
and I
on,
mean
and I
to.
want to. I really do.
Yeah.
I was not a. I never really played a whole lot of Twisted Metal. My experience with Twisted Metal was my roommate in college would play through it every day, so I just watch. So I do. I know the stories.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of the characters and wishes and all that stuff. But I'm looking forward to. I really do want to watch it. I just haven't had a chance.
This isn't super faithful to like everything you expect it to be from the show. This is like loosely based, but they do kind of like, I don't want to spoil it, but I'm like, they do kind of bring it full circle into like what we get later is going to be the Twisted Metal,
Okay, so kind of like that Mortal Kombat movie, where it wasn't like didn't follow the Mortal Kombat whole formula, but it was more of a prequel to the
That's
actual
exactly
Mortal
what
Kombat
this is,
tournament.
yeah.
Okay.
That's exactly what this is. Yeah.
Phil, your buddy is in that movie.
Not my buddy. I've hung out with him a handful of times.
Okay.
But yes.
I'm still waiting for him to come on our show as a guest.
I'm waiting for a lot of people to come on our show.
Is this
looking at one in particular that I just got done playing video games with? Yeah, I'll do it. Okay, when? I don't know, man.
Is this like a big wig that you met while doing your presidential duties?
Before
one of the many hands that I've shaken.
Okay, gotcha.
Anyway, yeah, no, that's a good question, Sebastian. I guess we'll find out. I don't know. I'm a little worried about the Fallout show. We'll see how that goes.
From what I saw, it looks cool.
The
trailer
looks
looks
good.
faithful.
It does look cool. Yeah. I mean, it will be interesting because I think the show, like The Last of Us, was able to attract viewers that don't necessarily play video games. Like I know a lot of people that I work with that are like, "Oh, I watched this show and I loved it and it was fantastic." It'll be interesting to see if like Fallout is able to do the same thing.
Yeah,
Halo,
The Last of Us also has the benefit of being an HBO show, which is
that
like
too.
HBO is coming off of a very good hot streak with Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon. Barry killed it. Succession was one of the hottest shows around when it was going on. I'm like,
but they canceled one of my favorite shows. Sorry, I know this is not a TV show podcast, but they canceled Our Flag Means Death.
I hear that was good, and
so
I'm
good.
sad that's gone.
Yeah, it's so good.
I once yelled at Ernie Hudson about Oz. That's my
Did you really?
Yeah. I met Ernie Hudson. I'm like, dude, what was with the series finale of Oz? I was so He's like, I know.
Like, you're not the first one to talk to me about this.
I realized that maybe I got a little angry. I know he had nothing to do with it, but he was nicest guy in the world.
Oz was good too, though.
Oh, I loved
HBO
Oz.
puts out a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
They're the best in the business at making content right now.
Yeah.
I'd even argue for like the last 20, 25 years because Sopranos just turned 25.
Oh, that's a good point.
Oh, that's a good
People love
point.
that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, speaking of content that we got to see
Didn't
today.
Mike have two things?
Oh yeah,
no,
Mike,
the first one was about the Sebastian Hour.
Oh,
which
yeah,
is just,
Sebastian
just
Hour,
like
yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Just even the name Sebastian Hour just very calming and soothing.
Yeah. I'll have to.
Anyway.
I'm not a smoker, but you're kind of making me think I need to order like a case of cigars and stuff.
There we go. Yeah, get like a
just
humidor
get
and
a pipe.
everything.
We got pipe. Yeah, forget the cigars. Get a pipe.
Can I pull off a pipe?
Oh yeah, of course.
Are you a pipe guy? I don't know. That's yeah.
Anybody can be a pipe guy. You just got to adapt to it. It's not something that you're born into. You just take it and run with it. And next thing you know, 6 months later, you're a pipe guy.
I feel like if I just put a pipe to my lips, I'd just pretend to be Gandalf the Grey for the most of the day.
Oh yeah, that'd be amazing. That'd be amazing. You know what? You know where you have to have that show in that hotel that we stayed at in Seattle in that lobby.
Oh yeah,
Like, those couches were terrible, but other than that, like they're really low to the ground. It's really weird. But Sebastian and I recorded a couple episodes in the lobby. It was cool because people were walking by and it felt like Seattle. It felt like Seattle. But yeah, that would be a cool place to have a podcast there, Sebastian.
Yeah, it had some grit to it.
Yeah,
it had some grit to it, some real charm to that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I like that.
yeah. Hey, listeners, and Mike and Phil, tell me if this sounds familiar to you. To get me going in the morning, I start with a large mug of coffee, and by mid-afternoon, I start feeling sluggish. So I go to the coffee shop, and guess what I do?
Get coffee?
You buy more coffee.
That's right. I buy more coffee. And at night, I have a hard time sleeping because it keeps me up all night. The caffeine does, and I'm super tired the following day. And guess what? I do it all over again. It becomes a vicious cycle over and over and over again. And I wasn't getting much sleep. I was losing productivity and creativity, and I knew this wasn't healthy. Phil, I know we talked about this. Mike, does that sound familiar to you as well?
Absolutely. There's only so much coffee I can handle, and by the end of the day, I am angry. I'm yelling at my clients. I'm yelling at my family. It's just it's a vicious cycle, like you said.
Wow. Well, Mike, I think you'd be happy to hear that I discovered a product called Magic Mind, a healthy energy drink that helps me break that vicious cycle. And with this one little shot, it actually greatly improves my mornings. I take it in the morning and I feel energized throughout the whole day. And the best part, I don't have the crashes in the afternoon, and I feel energized throughout the whole day. And I'm not crabby, Mike. I'm not crabby or upset. And yeah, it makes me really happy.
Roger, can I just say that it's very obvious when you have not drank your Magic Mind?
That's true. There was like a week where like I ran out and we were recording and you said, did you not take your Magic Mind today?
It's doing wonders for you, man.
Yeah. But with me, and I'm sure both of you as well, my days are really long and it does require a lot of focus and creativity. I'm in all day meetings and creating learnings at my day job as an instructional designer. And then I'm writing reviews and producing Gamerheads. And at the end of the day, I did feel burned out and I lacked creativity and I lacked focus. But once I started taking Magic Mind, I did feel a change. Like I said to you guys a couple weeks ago, it just makes me feel so much better. I have my creative juices flowing. It allows me to think differently about the learnings I'm building and develop fun and clever solutions. I can actually focus in meetings, especially in the afternoon where I started struggling the most. And when I get home, I feel energized and excited to put my creativities to talents into writing and producing the Gamerheads podcast. I don't feel burnt out like I did before, and I'm getting plenty of rest and at night, and I'm not taking a lot of caffeine in the afternoon. And I feel way better in the morning and happier out through the day. And the best part is, and the reason it is because of Magic Mind, and that's why I love Magic Mind. Probably like you guys, I've tried other energy drinks. Most of them left a sour taste in my mouth or gave me an upset stomach. Plus, yeah, exactly. Plus, Phil, we talked about this. You only know some of what goes into those energy drinks. You don't know what's made in those things. But with Magic Mind, not only does it taste great, but it doesn't leave me with an upset stomach, and it's made with all natural ingredients sourced from the best suppliers with no sugar added, and it's nut free and vegan too.
Where do I possibly get this Magic Mind? Because I'm currently taking a green drink and I'm not sure if I'm getting the results that I want. So where could I acquire some Magic Mind?
Yeah, good question. So Magic Mind is actually launching. Is actually launching in Sprouts Farmers Markets at the beginning of January. So you can try a few bottles from the store first before committing to a subscription. And fantastic news to start off your New Year's right. For the whole month of January, the good people at Magic Mind are here to help you gear up to crush your 2024 New Year's resolutions fully focused. You'll get 1 month for free when you're subscribing for 3 months at magicmind.com/Jan, Jan, Gamerheads. And using the code Gamerheads20, you'll get an extra 20% off, which gets you a total of 75% off. This lasts only until the end of January, so hurry before it goes away. So again, it's magicmind.com/Jan Gamerheads. That's JAN Gamerheads with the discount code of Gamerheads20. Well, I was going to say about news that was announced. So we had a developer direct for Xbox today. And all I have to say is dun 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 dun.
I think you're kind of. So I think Roger,
you might get sued for that one.
you were on the right path, but you're using the wrong words. You're saying dun da dun dun, but it should be dum 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 da dum.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
I went there.
Pulling out twin gads.
I went there.
Pow pow.
Wow. All right, let's open it up. We'll start with Indiana Jones because that was like the last thing that they talked about. I will say Troy Baker, fantastic voice actor, sounds so much like Harrison Ford. I was so impressed with the bit that we got to hear of him talking. And he caught the cadence correctly. It sounded great. The story sounds good. The action looks great. Most of the scenes, I will say, okay, I will say this. I think some of the animation looked a little rough. The facial expressions looked a little rough. I will say that. But I'm excited to have an Indiana Jones movie, or game, I mean, and movie. If there was another movie, I would be excited for that too. I'm excited for an Indiana Jones game placed between Raiders and Last Crusade. I am super stoked about this game. Super stoked. But I get the sense that the three of you are not as excited as I am on this game. So I guess we'll start with you.
Dude, I haven't even made a facial expression.
Yeah, well, your silence kind of tells all. Mike, I'll start with you since you kind of like led this whole rebellion against my Indiana Jones fandom.
I was just being dramatic.
Oh, okay.
No, seriously. So okay, you want my thoughts? Okay.
Yeah, I do want your thoughts. That's why I called on you.
I'll give you my thoughts. All right, I'll give you my thoughts. Okay, so thought number one, first person. I could see why they're trying to be different than, Tomb Raider and Uncharted.
Indiana Jones. You are Indiana Jones.
I'm Indiana Jones no matter what. What do you? I'm not. What do you think I am? Just like a bird, like hanging out behind him? Like you're Indiana Jones no matter what. So I don't know if I'm a fan of the first person, but again, it's different. So like, otherwise everybody would be like, oh, it's just like Uncharted, it's just like Tomb Raider. Blah, blah, blah. So that's getting. I'm a little iffy on that. And then I gotta call this out. How much budget did they put into this movie? Or this game? They put a ton of budget into this. They've worked on this for years. They've worked on this for so many years. And this is the title that they come up with.
Well,
the Great Circle?
No, it's whatever the Latin thing Indiana said. I don't know.
Then why didn't they use the Latin? Then use the Latin term.
I don't know.
Circle.
They did not have a Latin word on the title. That is the Great Circle.
I know. Well, it made me laugh because we had Dial of Destiny, and now we have the Great Circle, and I was like, they kind of sound a little the same. Dial, right? Circle. Like,
wait till the Compass of the World comes out.
Or like make it. I would have been like Indiana Jones and the Dusty Lampshade or something like that. I don't know, like the Great Circle.
Did you not get what the Great Circle is, Mike?
I know what a Great Circle is. That's what I call my belt. But still.
It's ley lines, man. Ley lines.
It's not catchy. Let's just be honest.
It's stumbly. Like, go ahead, Sebastian.
Okay, I agree. Yeah, Sebastian, what do you think? What are your thoughts on this?
I don't want to come off super negative right off the top, but I was all right. So I'll start with this. I'm impressed with what I saw because like it got me more hyped than I was expecting, and that's what the point of all this is to build hype and excitement for something. And I am more.
We'll leave it right there, Phil. What? Yeah. No, I'm just kidding, Sebastian. I'm just kidding.
No.
Keep going. I want to hear the negative. Keep going.
I mean, I know. So, like, to start off with, I thought the gameplay looked fun. I thought, like, they got the vibe of indie, down, because I'm like, I think that's essential. Like, it looked like they were staying true to the IP very well. It looks like a lot of phenomenal voice actors and actors are in this. So I'm like, I think there is a lot of love and care put into this, and I think that's what, like, people want to see with, like, IP representation. That's what people wanted to see with the Avatar, with Hogwarts Legacy, with the Arkham games, with Spider-Man. They want like good care put into the IPs that we care about, and like that's cool. Okay, so Machine Games is really good at making first-person games. They are phenomenal at it. The Wolfenstein series, like for the most part, is a really phenomenal series, and this kind of feels like a good step for them. This could be their Insomniac moment of like, oh, we got Spider-Man and we're gonna kill it with Spider-Man. This could be that for them, and I'm excited for that. I just, on the other side, the gameplay looks a little mixed. There are some rough animations there. There is a lot of like jankiness involving the whip. The whip doesn't necessarily look like it connects. It almost looks like a VR whip, like a VR motion more than it does like a live AAA motion.
Yeah.
And then I think my biggest complaint is like, I get the first person and third person narrative of like debacle. You don't want this to look too much like Uncharted. You don't want this to look too much like Tomb Raider. I get all that, but I do gotta say, like, nothing that we showed here looked better than Uncharted 4 or the last Tomb Raider trilogy. And I think what Xbox needs is a king. They need to put someone on the throne and say, like, this is the IP that's leading us forward. And Indiana Jones didn't look like that. Like, Indiana Jones looked like it's going to be a fun game, but I'm going to be real with you. Like, I think there would be some pushback if Indiana Jones came out and it was a $70 game for what we just saw. Like, because especially considering what was the game they showed previous that was like $50?
Final Fantasy or whatever.
Not Final
Square
Fantasy.
Enix, the Mana game.
Not Mana. Mana's I think going to be a $60 title.
The Ara history.
Endowed.
Senua.
Yeah.
Hellblade has been announced as a $50 game. Hellblade, in a lot of ways, looks better than Indiana Jones as far as visuals and all that kind of stuff.
I agree with it. I was a little disappointed with Indiana's like look of his face. It didn't look like next gen graphics to me.
The thing is, I don't care if because in my opinion, we're at a point where the graphics between last gen and this gen are to me are negligible. Like, if it looks like a last gen game, so what? As long as it's fun and it plays. And Roger, I know you're excited about this, so I'm not trying to poo-poo on your parade. But like, I'm looking forward to the game. I'm gonna play the game. It's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it. So, as long as it's a fun experience, I don't care if the graphics, if it was a 2D side scroller, Phil.
Yeah.
I would also like to point out that when you bring up Indiana Jones's face, how much of the time you're actually going to see his face when it's a first-person game?
That's true.
Evidently, there's going to be third person as well, though. There's third person as well, and his cutscenes. Yeah, so
and the cutscenes,
right? I mean, obviously in the cutscenes, but the cutscenes, unless it's a Kojima game, are only going to take up 10% of the game.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good.
That's
point.
true. That's a good.
That's
yeah.
true.
Or PlayStation Studios game at that point too.
Do you think we'll ever see a crossover between Wolfenstein and Indiana Jones?
No.
That'd be amazing.
I know, but the style is too different.
Yeah.
That'd be like the Doom and Animal Crossing crossovers that people were going crazy about in 2020.
That's true.
Was that a real thing?
Oh, everybody
because they both released at the same time.
Yeah, so they were, as the kids say, shipping Isabel and Doom Guy.
Yeah.
Oh.
I want to bring some heat to this. So like, I'm gonna be real with you. I think this is a game that should thank its heavenly stars it's on Game Pass. Cause like, I don't see how this is like super too much better than the Avatar game we just got. Like, and the Avatar game that we just got in December is already $20 in some places, selling for $20. And I'm like, I do think it will be a step up quality wise, but Indiana Jones as an IP in 2024 isn't necessarily a hot IP considering, especially the financial failures it's faced in theaters lately. So I think it's good that this is a Game Pass day one game.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm
not trying to be mean. I promise I'm not.
I know you're not trying to be mean. You just are. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm just saying. Yeah.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you. This is the thing. Like for me, it's hard for me to be critical of Indiana Jones just because of how important that character has been in my life. I mean, like, so much so that, I mean, this is this is
Did you name the dog Indiana?
I did name a dog Indiana. I did.
I know. That's
And
why I said it.
yeah. And I went to school for history and religious studies and archaeology and anthropology. And I, because I wanted to be an archaeologist, I wanted to be Indiana Jones. I'm not. I didn't end up in that field. But he was super important in like my whole makeup of like growing up, and just he was the hero that he was the first hero that I remember that I was actually flawed and made mistakes, right? Like every other hero like was always just like flawless, and Indiana Jones made mistakes and yet somehow persevered and made it through like making mistakes. And he's also a flawed character. He's not perfect. And that's what I like about him, right? Like that he kind of wings half the things he does, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, and Harrison Ford is amazing. I just love him as playing Indiana Jones. So, yeah.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
I can see the emotion there, and I love that. I think I really do. This is how I felt whenever I finally got a good Spider-Man game, and I finally got a premier Batman game, because I'm like, there were Spider-Man games and Batman games beforehand, but none of them, they always felt like shovelware type of games.
Well, Spider-Man 2 on PS3 was good.
Spider-Man 2 on PS3 was good. I give you that, but was it a game of the year contender? Like, was it something that you would just like?
You delivered pizzas in that game. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked Maximum Carnage. I thought was good.
Yeah, Maximum Carnage was good.
Maximum Carnage was okay, and then Web of Shadows. They were all like they're for the most part. Spider-Man has had a decent run, but I'm like, you can't debate if like any of those games live up to Insomniac's.
No.
I'm like, not even close.
Not even close.
I'm like, not even close. It's like, and this could be that for Indiana Jones, and that's exciting. It's just, I wonder. My question was for Roger, like, how much of a heartbreak would this be for you if this is mid? If this isn't just like, if this isn't great, but if just like you had a good time, but you can tell this is like just a decent game. If it's a 7 out of 10 game, is that going to break your heart?
If it's a 7 out of 10, no. I'm okay. I'm okay with that. If people come out and say it's like a 4, I'd be disappointed. But honestly, I guess I wouldn't care anyway, because like for me, I'm like, that's cool. I'm still enjoying it, and that's the thing. Like, the Staff of Kings was not great. Emperor Tomb was really good. But it
These
shows
are Indiana Jones games.
Yeah. Sorry,
Okay.
for those of you that don't know, those are Indiana Jones games. So like for me, I'm going to. I even played Raiders of the Lost Ark on Atari. Okay, like that is some rough stuff. Rough stuff.
Temple of Doom on the Nintendo.
The Temple of Doom on Nintendo, really rough. Although it's better in arcade. If you played that game in the arcade, it is much better in the arcade. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to enjoy it because I'm just a huge Indiana Jones fan, right? And I'm going to play through it just because I want to see where the story takes Indy. And yeah, I mean, I've played some bad Indiana Jones games and I still enjoy them. So
as long as they put out an IP, the quality of the IP doesn't matter. Is what you're telling me?
I mean, as long as they're not like screwing up Indiana Jones, like in doing some really weird stuff with him, right? Like I joked about the crossover.
As long as it's not running off the Starfield engine.
Yeah. I mean, like,
is the bar low there though? Because that's what I'm like wondering. I'm not trying to be mean, but like I would be very upset if another Batman game came out and like it was basically if it was Gotham Knights again, I'd be like, I can't, like it would sour me. Like it would.
Yeah. I mean,
Gotham Knights came out and I was mad. I was absolutely.
So was Phil. Phil was not happy at all. Here's the thing. I'm a defender of Crystal Skull and Dial of Destiny. Like,
the bar is low.
Even Crystal Skull, I was like, but then I watched it again. I'm like, okay, except for the swing. The whole point, that the whole scene I don't like is the swinging through the trees. That just like, come on.
Oh,
like,
that ruined it for me when I saw the theaters.
Yes, that was the moment that I'm like, oh no, come on. But the rest of the movie is not bad, actually. Now I watch back, I'm like, okay. I mean, it's Indiana Jones. It's all about mystical and science meets mysticism meets sci-fi meets whatever.
If you turn your brain off, it's a fun movie.
Yeah.
If you're going to sit there and overanalyze anything, it's going to piss you off, no matter what the movie is and what the genre is. And if you turn your brain off and just watch it to be an action movie and have a good time with it, you're going to have a good time with it.
Yeah.
Like, I saw it in the theaters and I walked away and I didn't hate it. Sure, there were some things that kind of made me groan a little bit, but I walked away and I looked at my friend Andy and I was just like, that was dope. I can't wait till they do this again.
Yeah. I mean, I love Dial Destiny. I saw it twice in the theater. I went to go see it twice. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I know a lot of people didn't. But I loved it. I thought like Indy was cool as an old guy. Like, it showed some of his, like, the growth of his character, and you compare it to how he was in Raiders versus there, like, so different, like, of a person, right? And just shows like his whole arc of a character. And I thought that was great. I don't know. And plus, like I said, I think Harrison Ford did a fantastic job. Phil.
Can we circle back to the game for a second, since nobody asked me what my thoughts are?
Oh, yes, Phil.
Phil, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, what are your thoughts, Phil, on the game?
I think regardless of anything else, it's going to really come down to how they balance the action and the exploration aspects of it. Mm-hmm. Like, if they can finally tune that enough where it's not super heavy on one or the other, or one or the other feels so much significantly better than the other, I think it'll be an enjoyable experience regardless. Like, what it looks like, as long as it plays smooth enough, as long as the story is good enough, I think those that are fans of Indiana Jones and fans of like first-person exploration games are going to have a good time with it. It's a matter of if they can find that balance.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting that they said that you can either go in guns a-blazing or you can try doing stealth. Like, however you want to play as Indy is up to you. I thought that was kind of neat too. And there'll be the puzzles, right? They have to figure out as Indy.
Yeah.
That was neat. But no, I agree. I mean, I think if they can find a good balance of that and allow players truly to determine how they want to play that game, right? Like, yeah, I think it'll be okay.
That sounds like Far
Cry. I watched it and I was like, oh, absolutely.
Whenever you
if they
say
kind
it
of take
like
a Far
that,
Cry
that's
approach
Far
with it,
Cry.
like, yeah. And even if they not necessarily do it to the Far Cry point of like take over these strongholds or whatever and that kind of stuff, but if they give you like a big open world to explore and put pieces together on your own to progress through the main storyline, I wouldn't bitch about that at all if I was playing an Indiana Jones game that was that kind of a style. Like, I think that'd be a lot of fun to do. It'd also give you that open world traversal, which I don't necessarily know if they're going to do here.
I think
but
this
even
is
just
gonna
like
be
watching
linear.
that trailer. Yeah, I think it'll be very linear as well. But even like watching the jumping from the wing of the airplane to the other wing of the airplane, I'm just like, all right, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like, that looks like fun. Like, keep doing that kind of stuff. And even like taking the machine gun on the back of the airplane and like gunning down that other one that's chasing you. I'm like, all right, they're showing a variety of gameplay styles here too. So I mean, if they can like execute everything to the point where it is like a quote unquote 7 out of 10 as far as execution goes, and it comes across as a straight solid 7, I think the vast majority of people will be happy with that game being a 7.
Yeah.
And the only people that aren't are going to be the ones that are just pissed off about everything all the time, and who cares about those people?
That's a good point. That's a good point. I think there's a lot of pressure, and it's not necessarily on Indiana Jones in general. It's just like,
I think
the
on
Xbox pressure.
Yeah,
I'm like, the Xbox pressure of it all, of like, you are, whether or not this game is first person, third person, it's still going to be compared to the games it inspired, which are Uncharted and which are Tomb Raider. And like, if it's not up to the level of the games it inspired, especially with another one being a first party game from your competitor, it's not a great look, you know? It's just not a good look. And and you add the IP on top of it, which means like, I think that adds a little expectations, because I'm like, you get an IP, like this is a showcase on how Xbox is going to treat its first party, not only first party games, but their first party IPs going forward. And I'm like, they need to knock it out of the park. Starfield wasn't the messiah that it needed to be. And I'm like, no, I'm like, Starfield wasn't that, and neither was like Forza. It was a Forza game, and it has a ceiling. And then Redfall was probably one of the most disappointing games of last year for a lot of people. So I'm like, this feels like a lot of pressures on it. And I hope that this game is phenomenal. I hope that even me, who's not necessarily a super big indie person, who does like now want to go back and watch those movies again, because I'm like, maybe I'll like have a different opinion on it, and maybe that'll kickstart it into like a really cool hype moments before like I actually sit down and play this game. But like I feel like there's a lot of pressure on this, and I hope it lives up to that pressure.
Yeah. You watched all the movies though, right, Sebastian, or no?
Yeah, for better or for worse.
Okay. I mean, it would just be interesting because, like, for me growing up, right, like those are so, like I said, formidable for who I am. But it'll be interesting to see, how much nostalgia plays into that too. Like, I don't know, if you rewatch them, let me know what you think, because I I can rewatch them all the time, and I love them. But it'd be interesting to see what you think rewatching them.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the other question is like, what's the bar of success for this game? Because I'm like, is this older IP, which didn't do well in theaters this last couple go rounds, like, how's it going to do with the mass majority of audiences, or is it going to be like a certain age demographic that really is captivated by this, and everyone else is going to be like, oh yeah, that game came out, And I'm like, I hope it's not that, but like, this is like the coolest scenario this year, because I'm like, there's so many questions around, is Indiana Jones a relevant IP in 2024, and how does it going to do in a video game structure? And also, like, is Machine Games going to kill this? Is this going to be their breakout game? Now I'm like, there's so many cool questions. I'm excited about this game.
Yeah. Well, I guess hopefully we'll get all those questions answered this year. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, hopefully. I'm hoping it comes in, because Xbox can't afford to have another delay.
No, they did say it would be later this year, right?
Yeah,
if I remember correctly.
Later 2024.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, but Starfield was also come out in 2022, right? Wasn't that also delayed for a while?
Yeah, but that's because
that was 1 year.
And look at how good it came out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was no bugs.
Hey, there was a lot of bugs. I'm like,
in Starfield?
It was still a Bethesda
I
game.
just kind of looked around. I was like,
well, okay, not compared to like the release of Skyrim.
Not compared to like Oblivion or Skyrim,
or Gollum.
No. But even then, I'm like, for a Bethesda game, this was a lot more polished for a Bethesda game.
Yeah. There were other games announced, or not announced, but at least shown. The Senua, what is that called?
Hellblade.
Hellblade 2.
Hellblade 2.
Or 3 or 6.
Yeah.
With the release date.
With a release date of May, right? Wasn't it coming out in May?
Yeah, May.
Finally, there's a game again that's been pushed. How many years was this? Like, I feel like I saw it 3 years ago when it first announced, wasn't it?
I think this was first announced in 2019, right?
Was it 2019? Yeah, I don't know.
It's been a while.
Been, yeah.
It's been a while. I will say this. I don't know if there's anything that they showed us that we haven't seen before. Like, I feel everything they showed us, I'm like, yeah, I've seen this. It still looks cool. It was cool to see a little bit more behind the scenes of like how they film some of the scenes and how they capture some of the voices, right? Especially with the voices in her head, and the expertise that they turn to around, like experts in psychosis and like. But I mean, the thing is, like, if anybody that's been following this, they're like, yeah, I knew this stuff already. Like, this is not anything new. Like, this is how they did the first one, and I expect the same in the second one. I don't know. I mean, I will say, Sebastian, who said it before, like, compared the animations and the visuals, like, Senua looks so much more polished than the Indiana Jones game. But I don't know. I didn't feel like we saw anything new. I feel like I saw everything that we saw before. Am I wrong? I mean, did we see something new? Maybe I missed it. Maybe I'm like, no, this is new stuff, Roger. Like, brand new. I don't know what you're talking about.
We all know I don't pay that close of attention. It was just kind of on in the background as I was doing other things.
I mean, but I guess, do you guys think that? I mean, did we see anything new out of this? Or is this kind of like, yeah, this is what I expected?
But they told us that, though. They told it. They basically said, hey, we're going to be showing off these games. So this isn't like doesn't get the hype levels of a Nintendo Direct or or like the Game Awards or something like that. We knew what to expect. So if you came away from this saying, "Oh, they didn't show off any surprises," well, then you've got yourself to blame for that because they didn't say, "Get ready for all sorts of new announcements." Like that's going to be coming, I'm sure. But this is just like, here's an update.
I think Roger was talking about specifically about this game, right?
Yeah,
not
this
just about
game.
About this game. I thought you meant
the footage. No. The footage of this game specifically. I don't think we saw anything new out of the gameplay. I feel like we saw this already.
Yeah, it was mostly behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah. But I mean, to be fair, we've also seen this game to death at this point.
Yeah,
I'm like, this was more so about like not necessarily even the behind closed doors footage of it. This was mostly about like, hey, now we're finally we're giving you a release date. We're finally giving you the date that you wanted, and like that's cool. I mean, the people who are excited about this game finally have a date to actually grab onto and actually look forward to. So I still have worries about this game because like I think this is going to be a fantastic walking simulator. Like a fantastic walking simulator. That gameplay still looks very stiff and very like it's almost like you're basically fighting people one-on-one and then just waiting for that one-on-one interaction to be done so you can fight the next being one-on-one again. And I think that's going to be great for a lot of people. It's just like it's going to be hard when you're also like on the other side of the fence. We also just saw like The Last of Us 1 and 2 and how great those were gameplay wise, and also telling you a story, whether you like the story or not. But like they were also telling you a really profound story. But then, I think the best thing I think that came out of this is them announcing that this is going to be a short game. Like this is, they said this is going to be a short narrative experience. And the runtime is, they announced on Twitter later on, it's going to be a short runtime that is very similar to the first one. That also is going to be just a $50 game. I think that's perfect.
It's coming to Game Pass though, too, right?
Yeah, it's coming to Game Pass.
Everything they showed today was
okay,
except for the Mana game.
Oh, that's not
I don't
coming
think
to
the
Game
Mana
Pass.
game's coming. I don't think so.
Oh, I thought it said it did, but I also wasn't paying attention.
I don't think they said confirmed it was going to be a day one Game Pass game, but like, but they've been partnering with Square a lot. The Octopath games, for instance, are coming. One is on Game Pass, one's coming to Game Pass. So I'm like,
Dragon Quest.
was
also on Game Pass for a while.
Yeah,
long time.
I will say, I think that game was the one that impressed me the most. Now, that was the secret game that they didn't announce ahead of time, and they pulled that one in. I thought that looked really cool. Different than the other Mana games that we're used to. I thought the art looked really good. The combat looked really good. I mean, I think if you're a fan of the Mana games, I think you'll be a fan with this. I mean, I will say it was really cool to see the creator. I loved his jacket that guy was wearing. Oh my gosh. It was like this black leather jacket. It was amazing. I don't know. What did you guys think of the Mana game? Did you say anything that Visions of Mana is the...
I kind of liked it. I mean, it doesn't look like it's breaking any barriers or anything like that, but it does look like a fun experience. Very colorful, very very vibrant. So I'm looking forward to it. I think I'll probably pick it up when it comes down to $20.
Yeah. Is it a multiplayer game? Because it looked like there's more than one person playing, but I could have been wrong.
I
think
so.
I think you have a live party with you.
Yeah,
it's multiplayer.
I see.
I know that's the way the last one that I played back on the PlayStation 1 was. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that same formula carried over.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's almost very similar to was it Blue Link Fantasia, the one that's coming out? Where it's like it's a live action game basically. It looks cool. It almost looks like a mixture between Monster Hunter and Dragon Quest. So I'm like, if this is a really good year for RPGs, though.
Yeah. Fable. I mean, we didn't see anything new.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
I thought I missed something for a second. I was like, Fable was
Yeah,
there?
I was like, wait a second.
Wait, wasn't Fable listed in this thing? Wasn't Fable on
No,
this?
Avowed.
No.
Avowed.
Was that Avowed? I thought there was Fable. Wasn't Fable on this thing too?
Nope, that was Avowed.
Avowed.
Oh. What? That was Avowed?
That was Avowed.
Or as I was calling it all day, was Endowed.
What was I? What? Wasn't
Fable was not here.
The
Yeah,
one with the
Fable's not
giant?
there.
The giant? Wasn't that Fable?
That was Fable, but that was a long time
Fable,
ago.
But that was like,
They
yeah,
didn't-
that was
they
a
didn't-
year
they didn't
ago.
have
What
this
press
on the-
conference did you watch today?
I don't know. Maybe I watched a different one. How did I? Oh no. I know why. Huh? They had a pre-conference. I had that on, and they were showing footage from Fable. That's why. Never mind.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay. I was like, we didn't get nothing new about Fable.
Yeah. They had. I'm sorry. You're right. They had a bunch of pre stuff on, including Immortals 33 Immortals. They had, this is a while back, but they had Phil Spencer playing that with the group. So sorry, Fable was not announced. But
Roger, we just got a new poll after your Fable
Yeah,
announcement, and your numbers are dropping.
Yeah,
Mike's have
exactly.
went up, mine have went up, but your numbers are dropping after saying they talked about Fable on that.
At least Mark's hasn't gone up. I'm glad to see that.
I think he's done voting for himself.
Avowed was there. Avowed looked kind of cool. I again, I don't know. We'll see how that combat plays out. I thought it looked cool, but we'll see how that plays in actual hands of the players. I don't know. What did you guys think of
The one that looked like Civilization, I thought looked really good.
was it
my
Ara?
game
Was
right
that
there.
Ara? Ara was that the
Yeah.
name of that game?
Yeah, that game looks super dope.
Yeah, that does look really good.
Yeah, I mean, you have like four of like some of the founding members of the Civ team working on that
Mhm.
game.
Yeah.
And, like, you could really tell the DNA is there. It looks so
Yeah.
good, so well polished. I love
Only
the.
person you're missing, Sid.
Oh yeah, man! Did you see the mechs? Like you can build up your civilization from the Stone Age or from the bow and arrow ages all the way to like mechs.
Yep.
Oh, I'm so excited! Civilization was probably my most played game of
Mhm.
2023. I'm so
Really?
excited.
2023? No kidding, no?
Oh man, Civilization might be one of my most played games at this point in my life. But like, just
I can
like,
agree to that.
yeah, just like 4, 5, and 6. But 6 in general was probably like, oh, it was an unreal time. It's almost embarrassing how much time I spent on Civilization. I think it was like maybe 600 hours this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. No, that game looked really good. And I loved the humor that studio had too. Like I thought that was really funny that guy just walked during their just walked in and like, "Hi Dan, that's Dan." We actually started in his basement, and I was like, that was kind of a cool moment, right? To like go back to their roots of like where they started. Like that was cool. That was a cool, and just like they listened to feedback, and like I love the part where they're like, "Cougars, I hate them." Like that was
pretty amusing.
Yeah.
And they were like, we had too many cougars in the game.
Yeah,
we heard
yeah.
the feedback.
Yeah, we heard the feedback. It was it looked really good too. Yeah, and then Avowed, like we said, Avowed looked decent. We'll see. I don't know. I guess when I watched it, there was nothing in there that I was like, yeah, I want to play this game. Like it didn't feel like I need to play this game day one.
Yeah.
I'll dabble in it, I think, but I don't think it's going to be one of those games that just sucks me in and pulls me in. That's not saying that it won't be good. It's just it's not my style of game, really.
I think that type of game doesn't showcase well because like Obsidian games, we're not mostly playing for the gameplay. You know, like we're playing for the dialogue. We're playing for the interaction with the characters, the character-driven choices. So I'm like,
and they try to highlight that though. They did try to highlight that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I said it shouldn't showcase like what the the key points of that game really are, and then like it doesn't help that the game, even though it looks a lot better than it did when they first showed it, because it looked awful, absolutely awful when they first showed it, visually speaking. But like the gameplay here still didn't necessarily pop on the screen. It was like it felt like it was muted in some places. It felt like some of the colors, while it was vibrant, felt like it was almost like a AA budget level game versus a AAA level. So I'm hopeful that this game is going to be better than it showcased.
Yeah. Overall, I guess, what would your final grades be for this? Sebastian, I'll start with you. What's your final grade for this showcase or this direct, I guess?
I would give this. I'm a really tough grader in all things in life, but I would probably give this like a B plus actually, because I don't think they stuck to any game like an obscene amount of time. I think the pacing was really good. I think the visual styling where they basically had the devs talk about the game and then like had the dates or the date window revealed and then circled those to really emphasize and bring it home. Hey, you can expect that this year in 2024. And the fact that every game that they showed, all 5 games are coming out this year, feels like it's a good thing.
I mean,
like
they could be pushed. They could be pushed, right? Especially the Indiana Jones game. That's the one I'm worried the most that they're going to push because they're like 2024. They didn't like give like a quarter, or there's like later 2024.
11:59 Eastern Standard Time, December 31st. Indiana Jones will drop.
Still technically,
be like, yo, we did it.
We did it.
Yeah. I the other flip side of that, if they do nail all these dates, and these games are decent, it feels like Xbox maybe can gain some momentum that they desperately need. And that feels like the whole point of this conference is like, hey, advertise Xbox, make it look like make it look in its best light, and also, showcase some really cool games for us to get excited about. I think they nailed that.
Yeah. And on top of that, I think that they needed to nail that because and as it is, right, like all this stuff was leaked about their plans of future stuff, right? Like whether that's really still on the docket or not, who knows? But I feel like a lot of like cool things that we were expecting might have already been shown from Xbox, so I feel like they had to have some kind of win here. So Mike, final grade on the direct?
You know what? I give it a solid B. Like, it was pretty much what I expected it to be. There wasn't anything crazy. I was surprised. I was pleasantly surprised to see the Mana trailer, because that game, when they announced it over the summer, it kind of piqued my interest. So it's like I was happy to see some more stuff. The Indiana Jones game looks good. I'm not gonna lie. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be interesting. So yeah, solid B.
Nice. Phil?
It was a solid A+ for me because it's Microsoft, and Microsoft can do no wrong.
I figured.
In all seriousness, though, I thought the pacing of the announcement was really good. Microsoft doesn't really do a ton of these that I pay attention to.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice to see them kind of go out of their normal style of presentation and that. But I thought like they did a really good job jumping from studio to studio, outlining what was going on and giving some solid dates to some things we didn't have them on, and presenting some new footage, especially with the Indiana Jones that everybody's pretty hyped for, I believe.
Yeah.
Realistically, I give it a nice solid B. Like they didn't do anything wrong. They didn't really blow the socks off of anything, but it was a nice presentation. I actually watched it, if that doesn't tell you anything.
Yeah.
What do you think, Roger? What would you give
I'm gonna go with you, Sebastian. I'm gonna give it a B+. I mean, I thought what everybody said, the good pacing. I felt like they showed enough of the games, like outside of Senua, Hellblade II. They felt like we saw some new footage for a lot of those games, especially Indiana Jones, obviously. And yeah, I mean, I think the thing that they highlighted, which I really liked, was having the developers talk about the games. Like, I love to hear that versus, some I don't know, paid actor to go up there and talk about the game. Like, who cares? I don't care what the actor has to say. I want to hear what the studio has to say about the game, and I want to hear from them, and I want to hear what they thought about putting, like, what they like about the game. Like, what were some of their favorite moments, right? And we got a lot of that. I think we got a lot of personality, and I think that I would like to see more directs like that, where we hear from the studios and the people that are making the games. And because I think there is something about the human touch to the games. Like, once you put a human face to the people that make the games, I feel like that's really important, especially now with all the layoffs that are happening. I feel like that is a really important piece that we need to have. So I give it a B+. I thought it was solid and good. So
here's something I didn't want to interrupt you, but like,
no,
we got all this cool stuff. What I think we all gave it, around the same grade there. But like, all this happened, and then just think about it, guys. Like, we still have a whole year that they have a lot of announcements to drop. We have a whole like June showcase where they could drop a lot more. I'm like, If they dropped all this right now, what can we
Yeah.
expect in June when they do their annual like reveal?
Gears of War.
Yeah.
I'm like, they could go crazy in June
Yeah.
and just drop like some stuff in the future.
Yeah,
I almost wonder if we won't see like the newest something from the newest not Skyrim, but Elder Scrolls at that point in June, because it was announced 2-3 years ago, where we might get some kind of a teaser, not even a teaser trailer, but something with some actual meat behind it from Skyrim from them in June, or not Skyrim, Jesus man, Elder Scrolls.
6,
Yeah. I mean,
Skyrim's been re-released 25 times, so it's what comes to my brain every time that I think Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I think that whatever they announce in June is not going to come out probably this year. It's going to be
no, for sure not.
No,
forward to next year.
Well, I mean, but then like on the other hand, like the Outer Worlds 2 or the Outer Worlds 2 or maybe even like Starfield DLC, Halo DLC, Halo expansion, like a new thing from Redfall, maybe hey, we actually fixed this broken game, like kind of announcement, or like, you know, they can give like so many updates and like announcements of like a whole bunch of games that we either know about or like haven't even heard of yet. That could be when Fable actually shows us real like concrete gameplay. That could be also when we see more State of Decay 3 and see what that actually looks like in this day and age. There's a lot to be excited about.
Yeah. And I'm sure there'll be plenty of indies too that they'll be able to highlight during that showcase too. So, okay. So we spent a lot of time on that. I do want to just briefly talk about games that we're currently playing. Sebastian, can you highlight just a few games that you're currently playing and what you think of them?
Yeah,
I already know what you're playing. I already know.
You already know what am I playing?
Prince of Persia.
Yeah, I played a little bit of Prince of Persia. It's pretty fun. Really good Metrovania. If you listen to any gaming podcast, you probably already know that is probably I think it's the best game Ubisoft has done in a very long time, because I think I mean, I don't think the bar was very high. I'm not trying to be rude, but like they are a developer
formulatic.
Yep, they are. They've been swimming in sevens for a long time, is what I like to say. And I'm like, I think this is a step back. It's a step in a retro design for them, but it's a step in the right direction as well. So it's a step forward, but also in a retro sense. So I'm like, I think this is where they kind of need to stay in their lane here. And they are absolutely killed it with Prince of Persia. So I've been playing that, and other than that, just some indies and some new games to review. What about you, Mike? What have you been playing?
I have a question.
What's up?
Prince of Persia. I love Metroidvanias. I love Prince of Persia. I want to get this game. However, it is a Ubisoft game, which means it'll be half price.
Be on sale in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So my question is, based on what you played, is it you could wait and get it when it goes on sale, or no, go get it now?
Can I counter question that? Like
counter away, my friend.
Okay, how big of a physical game person are you?
So don't you see my Switch games?
Yeah.
Ask him how many of those he's played, though. Ask him that.
Don't ask me how many of them I played.
Okay, so do you think, like, how long does it take you to beat a game?
It takes a while.
How long would it?
Really into it? If I'm really, really into it, probably a few days.
Okay, so how long would it take you to beat a 15 to 18 hour game?
Well, I'm going to talk about this. I just beat a 15 to 18 hour game, and I think it took me
15 to 18 hours.
15 to 18 hours. No, I think it took me about 2 weeks of just casual playtime.
Okay, perfect. All right, so have you heard of this thing called Ubisoft Plus?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so Ubisoft Plus is that subscription service that Ubisoft offers now. That's like $17.99. It allows, especially on the premium level, and this allows you to play any of the Ubisoft legacy games and also their brand new day one titles. So I think this is for sure. I think this game is worth $18, but this is also a game that I think, like, if you spend that $18, beat this thing in 1 month, cancel the membership, and then like just chill out until Star Wars comes out later this year. And then like if you love this game that much because you're a physical media person, buy it when Ubisoft games inevitably go cheap, like within 6 months of the release.
That's a good point.
I would
It's
just
the smartest thing I've ever heard on this podcast, Sebastian.
like real talk. And the cool thing about it is like you can play it on all your platforms. So I'm like, if you're a PC guy, you can play Prince of Persia on PC. You can play this on Switch. You can play this on any other.
But no. The Ubisoft Premium doesn't work on Switch.
Oh, it doesn't? Okay.
No,
I don't
Xbox and PC.
I stand corrected then, Mike. I'm sorry for giving you bad information.
That's
but
okay.
Then again, it's also Switch. You shouldn't be playing that device in 2024.
Whoa. Hold on.
Hold on, we got a new poll coming in.
Hold on. While we get these polls racked up here, I will say this. I did play the demo on the Switch, and it played really well. Yeah, it did. Oh, God.
Sebastian just made leaps and bounds.
Oh, my God.
Wait, how did I go down? Or no, I went up.
You didn't. You went up. Roger went down twice.
Yeah, I went down
for
twice.
the false information that he provided.
What?
Also, I'd like to remind the listeners that he lied to his kids last week.
No, just one of them. Not
Phil.
kids, one.
I have a proposition for you. I would like to remove my name from the presidency race to basically.
It's too late.
No,
you're a write-in voter now.
Hold on. I would like to endorse you as president if you agree that I could be the vice president, so to speak.
Man, this is how deals get made.
This is how
money right here.
This is succession, everybody.
Slide into my DM, Sebastian. We'll talk about this.
All right, sounds good. But no, like Mike, to go back to your question though, I think you should. If you have either of those platforms, like. Go check it out. Go check out Ubisoft Premium, and then just mow through that game in like 3 weeks, and then cancel your service. And it's really good if you like those, like Prince of Persia and Metroidvania.
Okay,
yeah. I will say the one thing that Prince of Persia, the new Prince of Persia game, did that I can't believe the other Metroidvanias haven't done yet is that whole be able to capture a screenshot of where you need to go on the map. Like let's say there's an area that you can't get to yet. They use these memory shards, it takes a picture of that screenshot, shows it up on your map. So that way, when you get that said, mechanic, you're like, oh yeah, this is where I need to go. And you go back there and so brilliant. That was such a brilliant, but simple mechanic. I don't from going forward, every Metroidvania is going to be doing that for sure.
It should.
Should.
It's correct.
People are going to be like, why don't they do this? Right.
Yeah, this feels like as iconic as the Nemesis system felt when we first played it. When you it's that good of a mechanic. So I'm like, I think this is a game that's full of flavor, full of sauce, and if you are a Metroidvania gamer, this feels like the most AAA Metroidvania game we've gotten in a very long time. Not necessarily Hollow Knight, but right up there with that.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Mike, I'll go to you then. What are you playing?
I'll make this quick. So as I was saying, the game I beat, 18-hour game. I beat Tomb Raider. So that was Or I'm sorry, Rise of the Tomb Raider. So I gotta make sure I call that out. Fun game, good story, very enjoyable. And another cool thing is, and I didn't realize I just got lucky doing this, is that after you beat the game, if you go back into the game to try to collect, because there's a billion collectibles in it, when you go back into it, there's actually an additional cutscene that just kind of adds some more closure to the story.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool. So there's a lot to do even after the game's over. There's 2 DLC modes that I haven't even played yet. So great game, absolutely loved it. I highly recommend it. I played another game, and I'm not able to talk about that, right? It's okay. I can say it's good though, right?
No.
I can't even if I don't say the name of the game, I can still say.
Yeah. Okay, if you don't say the name of the game.
I played a game and it's good.
I played a game and it's good. There we go.
Yeah.
And then
I think we can talk about next week. Mike.
Yeah, I'll have the review up this weekend, so.
Okay.
And then, Roger, I'll let you talk about this more, but you and I played another round of Walkabout Mini Golf.
We did.
We're still angry with Phil for not joining in.
Yeah. Sebastian, do you have a quest, Sebastian?
No, I'm not a VR person.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not a VR person.
Yeah. I'll just
Still better than the Switch, but not a VR person.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Mike. I'll just
look at those votes come flying in.
So much fun. It's
It
so
is
much fun. Though. I absolutely love the Quest, and I'm not.
Yeah.
And I was never a VR person. I was like, okay, it is what it is. But I got the Quest. I'm like, man, this thing's awesome.
Yeah. So I'll just mention this real quick. Like we played another round of mini golf. I got my first hole in one. That was fun.
What?
Mike also got a hole. That same hole got a hole in one on that same hole. So like, but that was really fun. And like I was telling my wife this, like, it's just so crazy how. And you said this, Mike, before, just how real it feels, and the feedback that you get when you hit the ball. It just there's something. It's just weird. It's like. It really makes you think you're playing mini golf. Like, it's so well done. But yeah, that game is really fun. And we learned that we could create our own like characters. And the other fun thing is like, and I don't know if you could go to my Twitter and see this, but like we realized that after you beat the game, it's all like not to beat the game, but after you finished your holes, your 18 holes, you see like the course like as a miniature, but you're kind of like giants looking down at it. And then if for some reason we didn't know this, you can warp down to each hole. And I was looking up and there's Mike and his giant head looking down at me like he was some kind of god. And it was hilarious. And I thought that was the funniest thing. And I took a picture and put it on Twitter. So I don't know. Maybe my sense of humor is weird, but I thought that was the funniest thing I've seen in a long time.
It was fun. It was fun.
That sounds cool.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a good game. Phil, what have you been playing?
Well, to kick this off, I put about 6 hours into Cassette Beasts.
Yeah,
so I put a lot of time into that game.
But we're having a separate episode. Yeah, we're gonna have a separate
right
episode
here. That's Jesus, man! You just cut me off at the knees, for the love of God.
There goes the votes.
That's how you lose votes, Roger.
The
This
votes.
is how you lose votes is by doing stuff like that. You try to usurp the president. You try to pull a January 6th all over again, and this is what happens. Anyways, I put about 6 hours into Cassette Beasts, and we'll talk about that at a different time. The main game that I've spent a lot of time playing, and by main I mean today, is Turnip Boy Robs a Bank.
Oh.
Which just hit Game Pass today.
And
I came into this game expecting another Turnip Boy has tax evasion. This game is essentially Hades. Turnip Boy Robs a Bank is.
Oh.
I probably mindlessly threw 3.5, 4 hours into it and adored every second of that 3.5 to 4 hours that I put into this game. It is just you repeatedly making your way through a bank, trying to like map out the bank, get as much money as you can, buy upgrades, go back in again. It's very, very well done. Little bit of humor infused into it as well. Soundtrack is the soundtrack. It's good enough, but like it plays really, really tight. You unlock different weapons, you unlock different upgrades, and you just keep going in the same bank. I'd call it a roguelike, but it's not because it's the exact same map every time that you go into it. It's just a matter of if you don't make it out in time, you lose half of your resources. But I have loved my time with this game so far, and it's a game that I plan on playing through to completion. It's currently free on Game Pass, and if you've got an Xbox and Game Pass, go check this game out and spend a little bit of time with it and see if you don't feel the same way, because I think it's amazing. Sebastian, it looks like you've played it.
No, man. No, like I haven't played it. It's downloaded now, so I was for sure gonna check it out. But I was amused by your description, and I love me some Hades. It's just when you said that, I was just like, man, I've played 4 games that feel Hades inspired this week, and and I'm like, man, Hades really just that's a game, man. It just it basically is the franchise going forward. Like, I think at this point, like, your roguelike is just like, does it meet Hades' satisfaction? If not, go back and rethink the formula.
In this case, it's you start off with 3 minutes before the police arrive. So you've got 3 minutes to get in and out of the bank. So you can work your way in and work your way back down to the getaway car. But throughout the course of like getting money, you can add additional minutes to the timer on there as well. So you got more time to play with, and there's boss battles that are inside of the bank and things like this. So it's just quick ins and outs, like running back in and like grabbing as much as you can, getting back out, be it loot. There's, I'm going to say, dozens of quests that you can complete for various people inside of the bank as well. So as you do these things, you unlock, they'll either give you something to give to somebody else or a new hat for a cosmetic or whatever it is. But that's the only cosmetic or hats. But you're trying to just get in and out of this bank as quick as you can, or as close to the zero timer as you can, just like trying to grab as much money and whatever, and do some exploration to kind of like get your feet about you, so that way, like, next time you go in, you know exactly where you're going. You'll find some shortcuts, and like you keep progressing so that way. After you, like, for example, you beat the first boss, you get a level 1 key card that now allows you to open up level 1 doors. So now you've got all these different access points. And the only thing that's really roguelike or random about it is there's a couple of elevators in different locations in the game, but you never know where they're going to take you until you get to that elevator. It's never the exact same spot when you jump into the elevator. Like, there's the bank, but then there's sub-levels, and the sub-levels, from what I can see, don't get mapped out. It's so well done and well worth the price of Game Pass alone. Like, I adore this game.
Wow. Okay, I have to give that game a go, because that sounds
So
fun.
I'm probably giving it super high praise, but I think it just came out today.
Yeah,
Okay.
It did. Yeah.
Okay, got an early Game of the Year contender.
Like, I just hopped into it and I was like, okay, what am I getting into? And I played through like the first 2 runs and I'm like, all right, this is okay. And then like third or fourth run, it finally clicked into my brain as to what was going on. I'm like, all right, I can get behind this. I can F with this. And then I just kept going and going and going. And like, I was playing all the way up until, well, my friend Andy hit me up and he's like, yo, let's play some Overwatch. And I was like, I suppose I can put down Turnip Boy since we've been doing bank runs for the last 4 hours now.
I like that.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I'm loving this game.
Nice.
I'm gonna check this one out. Roger, what have you been playing?
So I played the demo of Prince of Persia on the Switch. I liked it. I like it a lot. Yeah, I mean, ain't no Phil.
Are you gonna be diving into it?
I'm tempted to get the Ubisoft Plus, so I can. So maybe
You couldn't play it on Switch if you got that though, Roger.
Well, I know.
You would. It would almost be you admitting that Switch is an inferior console at that point.
No,
hold on, we got poll numbers coming in.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of Hades, I've been playing more Hades. So I got back into that game because my kids are really into Greek mythology, and then I was like, oh, you guys should check out the game Hades. And so my kids have been really enthralled with me playing that. Now my oldest wants to play Hades, which would be cool. So really enjoying that. Like I said, played some golf with Mike. That was really fun. That walkabout mini golf in VR. And then the last thing I'll just mention is there was a Splatfest for Splatoon 3 this last weekend. It was holiday, or like, I guess, winter themed, like holiday themed, I guess. And it was fun. My son is getting way better at playing Splatoon. We didn't win as many matches as when I played with my daughter, like my oldest. She is very good at, she can hold her own in Splatoon. Like, when I say very good, like, it's not fair because like I put in so many hours, so it's like I can't compare them to me, but they do play very well for as many hours as they put in. I will say this is really funny. My son and I demolished a team. They only had like 10% of their land painted, or the area painted, of the arena painted. And one of the people on the other team sent a friend invite via Switch, and I was fine, whatever. And I looked, and they had like 2,000 hours put into Splatoon 2 and 700 hours put into Splatoon 3. And I was like, how did we kill you guys? Like, that's insane. Like, my son, but he realized that he's really good with one certain weapon, and he just latched onto that, and he's gotten really, really good with that. And it's fun to watch him play. It's fun to watch my daughter play too, because like they're not normally competitive people, like sports wise, but they like playing this game competitively, and it's fun. So that's what I've been playing. Okay, so before that I can talk about, same with Mike, like just certain things I can't talk about yet. So before we head out, then let's tell people how they can find us on social media. Sebastian, how can people find you on social media?
First off, thank you all so much for having me. It's been
of course,
really fun just blabbing away and talking about all things video games with y'all. I always like being on this. It just feels almost like home at this point. So thank y'all so much for having me and, let me rant and such like that. Y'all can find me at the Single Player Experience Podcast. It is available on all your favorite podcast platforms, or you can just, find me at, Sebastian PNR on the Twitter and all the other social media platforms. Thank y'all so much. Phil, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at bnow23. I don't really post much there except about comic books for the most part, because that's what a vast majority of my time gets taken up with. Not too much going on there. Mike?
You can also find me on Twitter at PezGuyMike, and I post absolutely nothing except when Phil posts his comic book pickups for the week. That's my favorite thing of the week, so I always like and repost because it's awesome, and it gives me ideas of comics that I do want to read one day.
Cobra Commander.
That's yeah, but the thing is, I saw the variant cover, and it spoiled a huge thing in it. So, and now you know what I'm talking about. So,
man, that new Spider-Man is really good, by the way.
Oh, the gang war stuff that's happening.
Yes, and then I can't remember the title. The middle-aged Spider-Man now. It's like, was really good. Where basically, like, I think it's dang, I'm trying to remember the main run.
Not the Miles Morales. That's Amazing Spider-Man is the main run where gang war is happening right now.
No, not Amazing. It is the one. I'm here. I'll pull it up on my little thing real quick. While I'm doing that, Roger, where can they find you?
Is it
Ultimate? Comic books for a half.
Are you talking Ultimate Spider-Man, the new one that just came out, where he's got kids?
Yes, the
stuff?
Ultimate. Yeah, where he has
that was
kids.
super cool.
Oh my goodness, such a really cool twist about like him choosing to be Spider-Man like that. Oh, so good.
They're doing a Black Panther and X-Men as well.
Oh, that's gonna be dope. I love the Ultimates. Like I loved it during its first run, so I'm excited to see it come back around.
All right, Roger, now back to you.
Yeah, hi. Listeners, you can follow me on Twitter at NintendoRaj. You can also follow Gamerheads at GamerheadsPod on Twitter. And you can go to our website at GamerheadsPodcast.com where you can hear this show and read reviews and previews and all the other fun things. Again, Sebastian, thank you so much for joining us. It was really fun having you on the show. You're always welcome back anytime.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. Mike, thank you for joining us this week.
Thank you.
Phil, thank you so much for joining us.
Always.
And listeners, thank you so much for giving us a listen. If you like what you hear, leave us a review. Go to Sebastian's podcast as well. Leave him a review too. And we want to hear what you have to say about the show. Until next week, everyone, stay safe and game on. Bye.
Bye.
Sebastian, you and I ruling the galaxy together.
I feel it. I feel it. I feel it. Oh, man, I love it.